All right, welcome guys to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the new Dynamis Neptune Blade that I have right here. Now, I do have the Razorback and I have the Dynamis Blade just so that you guys can see how it fits and kind of do a little side-by-side comparison of the Dynamis Blade to this. It's not going to be an in-depth comparison. We're mostly going to be talking about the Neptune here, but yeah, just a quick talk about those. Okay, so the Neptune Blade, it is not made by Daniel Winkler. It is made by someone else, not quite sure who, but what I can say is that the steel is CPM S110V. I actually do like it. It does take a very fine edge. It will retain its edge, and yeah, it comes pretty sharp from Dynamis, unlike the Razorback. I've actually had 3 of these and not one has actually been sharp. I did talk about why I didn't mind that in the blade comparison between the Dynamis Blade and the Razorback, so yeah, you can go and see that. Not going to rehash that out. But this is 8 1/8 inches from tip to butt. The cutting edge, I believe, is 3 1/8 inch long. It does have serrations. It's a spear point. It does have a line cutter because this is also not just meant for EDC carrying, but also it is a dive knife, which, being a scuba diver, I really like. You have this line cutter just in case you go into a shipwreck. I had some pretty cool B-roll footage that I wanted to roll in here of me diving the Yukon, scuba diving and skydiving, because I am a licensed skydiver. And unfortunately, between the move from San Diego out to Boulder County, I happen to have misplaced that SIM card. So I'm not quite sure where that is. I'm pretty bummed out about it because it was some pretty badass B-roll that I got on there. Let's see. So it is a dive knife. Now, the grip. The grip is completely different from the Dynamis Blade and the Razorback. I've been carrying the Razorback now for 8, maybe 9 years. It's by far one of my favorites up until the Neptune came out. At the beginning, me grabbing this, as you can see, the handles are completely different, right? The geometry or the shape of them are completely different. So this fits my hand really, really well. I wear a size medium gloves in mechanic impact gloves, like the mechanic shooting gloves. I wear a size medium in that. This fits me absolutely amazing, perfect. The meat of my hand really comes down over here and I get a nice solid purchase on this. So make sure I don't stab myself. So when I got my hands on this, it was different. The first maybe 5 minutes, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but after messing around with it for an hour or two, it actually did start growing on me because of the geometry of it, because it's the same on both sides. I feel like it's going to fit no matter how small or how big, how meaty your hands are. I think it's going to fit in your hands really, really well. I think they've done a very good job at also finding out the perfect balance between the jimping being just aggressive enough for scuba divers, whether we're wearing gloves because we're scuba diving in Silfra, Iceland, or we're diving in the Caribbean and in the Caymans and we don't need a wetsuit, right? Underwater, it's going to be pretty slippery, and they wanted to make sure that there was a good amount of traction and grip on here. So that way we wouldn't lose a $585 knife and have it sink, 500 feet. I don't know about you guys. I'm not Trimix certified. I am not going down 500 feet. As far as I go down is about 150 feet. That's about it. And even then, I've only done it like 3 times. So yeah, in water, the grip feels amazing. In the everyday environment that I'm in, it also feels amazing. So I really, really like it. I think that this is one of the best knives that they've made, probably hands down the best. I know that at Blade Show coming up, June 7th, they are releasing a new blade. It does look, from the handles that I've been able to see, it does look like a larger version of the Razorback, maybe another little finger swedge on here. Not quite sure, but for me, this is quite honestly one of the perfect blades out there. Now, it isn't a cheap blade, I get it. But you can literally take this thing scuba diving, out to the desert, skydiving with it, EDC, right? Versus some other blades, you might not be able to do that. And one of the other reasons why you can scuba dive with this is because of the coating. They have a special coating on here, the NEPT-X proprietary coating. I can tell you that it holds up pretty well. I mean, taking it in and out, right on the center spine of this, I can see a little bit of wear from taking it in and out of the sheath. But I did stab 2 holes in a car door. Not going to go into why, but the tip held up really well. It penetrated pretty deeply, and only about maybe 3 millimeters of the coating somewhat came off. Outside of that, it's holding on really, really well. So if you're thinking about getting a Dynamis blade and you're a bigger size individual and you want to get a full size blade, I mean, these two are pretty much neck and neck when it comes to size. You can look at the sizes online in the specs. What I can tell you is that the Neptune is a little wider than the Dynamis blade. So if I was to put them, you know, one on top of the other, you would be able to see more of the Neptune blade, even though the Dynamis blade is in front, just because it is a little bit wider than that. Thickness, it's about the same. When it comes to ride height, right? There was a couple people that asked about ride height. So in my first video. So this is kind of the difference. Let's see. That's why I'm kind of wearing them here. This is the difference. I've got the Neptune here, the Dynamis blade, and the Razorback. They're all sheathed as far down as they could go in the sheath. The sheaths are all the same. It's the sheaths that come with these. So there you go. It's kind of what it looks like. All right. When you're wearing a shirt, can't really see them. Although my biggest complaint, and this is just for me, this isn't a blade design, it isn't the fault of anyone who's designed this or anything like that. It's just for a guy who's 5'7", 150 pounds, and 30-inch waist. Well, actually, I didn't need to do that, right? I'm wearing the same sheath for every single one of them, so all I have to do is just pull this out. Duh. So when you clip the sheath onto just your pants, it does have the ability to ride a little bit more to the left and to the right. If you take the sheath and the belt clip and you put it over your belt, it's not going to be able to move as much. Now, the problem with that is that when you sit down, if you put the clip over your belt, is that it's going to be pretty stationary. So whenever it comes to you sitting down, the bottom of the sheath is going to be digging into your pelvic groin area. And after a couple hours, that does suck. I'm an accountant by trade, and so I sit for about 8 hours at a time. And I can tell you that whenever I wear this one, after a couple hours sitting down, it does start to hurt. Now, in a car, 30-minute car ride, 45-minute car ride, absolutely no problem whatsoever, but it definitely is not as comfortable as the Razorback. So just throwing that out there. The Razorback, I can sit for 12 hours, no problem whatsoever. Also, when I get up, I don't have to worry about it sticking out and printing on my shirt like this one does. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I mean, there is a bit of a spacing right here that otherwise, with the Razorback, isn't really a problem. You know, I can't really fit my fingers behind there because they're hitting the actual grip. So that's just something that is, I guess, a skinny person's problem, but just something to think about. All right, now let me show you what it looks like when you're sitting down. Because of the length of the grips, when you're sitting down in a car, depending on the car that you have, right? If you have a F-150, a Tundra, a 4Runner, or if you have a Porsche or something with sporty seats, your body is going to be contorted a little bit differently. And what I can tell you is that just even doing this, the Dynamis sheath, it's hitting my rib cage and it's really going in there. Sometimes it goes actually underneath and it starts to hurt. Versus with the shorter Razorback, it doesn't really do that. I can actually bend over a lot more without it actually digging into my body, versus the Neptune again. Yeah, that's about as far down as I can go before I start feeling it going under my rib cage. Okay, so here you should be able to see the difference. If I tuck in my shirt really nice and snug, between the Neptune and the Razorback. And just when you're sitting down straight up, like my rib cage is down here. That's the bottom of my rib cage. So this is like on the second rib already, versus with the Razorback, it's just under it. Again, that's my rib cage, and it's going into my rib cage. So, you know, just keep that in mind whenever you're thinking about sitting down and thinking about purchasing one of these. So if you've made the decision to purchase a full size versus just the Razorback, and you're thinking about getting the Dynamis Blade, the Revere, which is the exact same except it has serrations on it, or the Neptune, I do believe that getting the Neptune is the clear choice winner. One, you're not gonna have to worry about the grip, right? And whether or not you have fat, meaty hands in order to fill in all of the finger grooves here and for it to feel comfortable. With this, you're not gonna have to worry about that. Also, this has the coating that is more corrosion resistant. So sweat, ocean, whatever it is, this is going to be more resistance to just corrosion over potentially the 80 CRV2, which is now what these are being made out of. This one for me personally is not 80 CRV2 steel. This is one of their earlier models, and it's actually a bit sentimental because I'm from San Diego. The serial number is 619. It just kind of happened to be that way, which is the area code for San Diego. Kind of crazy. So probably won't ever sell this, even though I really don't use it. I think that just sits in my car as a backup knife. But this is really, really nice. I highly recommend getting this one over the others if you are looking for a full-size knife. Now, if you're between this and the Razorback, yeah, that's gonna come down to, I guess, personal preference and concealability. The Razorback is gonna be more concealable than the Neptune, but the Neptune, if you're a bigger dude, it's going to be a phenomenal option for you. All right, and then finally, we've got the case that it comes in. It's a pretty nice case. It's kind of like a Pelican case. It says Neptune on the top. I don't know if the other ones won't say it, or if they'll say like Razorback if you buy it, or Dynamis Blade, because I think they're starting to ship these out, all blades with something like this. So it's pretty cool. It actually does come with a key that you can twist and you can lock this thing. It's, from as far as I can tell, waterproof. Now, you have two options to purchase the Neptune. You can purchase just the blade with a normal sheath for like everyday carry, or you can purchase the diving package. If you get the diving package, you're gonna get a different sheath, right? You're gonna get two sheaths. You're gonna get the EDC sheath, the concealable one, and then you're gonna get the diving sheath. On top of that, you are going to get a couple cards in here, like who packed it. You're gonna get a coupon for 50% off Blade Training 1 and Blade Training 2, which is pretty cool. Someone was asking me if I took that in one of the other videos, and the answer is no, I haven't. I've taken some other knife fighting type of courses, but not actually from Dynamis Alliance. The knife also does come with a bungee that will help you retain it to the sheath when you go diving. And it does clip to the two little points up here. Admittedly, I don't know where it is. I think that I lost it in the move. I lost a couple different things in the move. First time that I move out of state or to a different state as an adult. And then finally, it does come with two different attachment points so that you can attach it to your BCD for us scuba divers out there. One thing that I would recommend to the Dynamis team is to come out with a video on how to actually set this up, because it took two fairly smart individuals about 20 minutes to figure out exactly how to attach this. Ultimately, I was able to figure it out. I think, obviously, I dove with it. I didn't have any problems with it. I still have the blade, so I did something right, but was it the actual way of how to set it up? I don't know. So having an actual video doing that, or how-to video of how to set that up, would be great. And I'm sure a lot of other divers out there would like that as well. So yeah, it comes with these two little keys, so that way if you want to use this later on for something else, you could just lock it, right? You twist this, and then you put the key inside, you rotate it, and now you can't open it up. It's actually locked, which I think is kind of cool. Now, if doing without this can bring the price of the Neptune Blade down a little bit, I think it'd make it a little bit easier for them to sell a couple more of these. I don't know how well they're selling these right now, but I do know that this is by far, just by itself, just the blade by itself, it is about $30 more than their other full size. Whether it's the Dynamis Blade or the Revere, the Neptune is more. I mean, it is better steel in my opinion. Does have a better grip. It has that proprietary coating, and it's truly an everyday 365 type of blade to carry. All right guys, so I hope that you enjoyed that video. I hope that it helped you figure out which one of these, you know, types of blades you guys want to get. If it did, please leave a comment below. All the comments do help with the YouTube algorithm, and share this, like, comment, do all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.